And good afternoon, everybody. This is GGFan bringing you the game of the day. So I'm still using RSW. However, this is a modified version of the team. Yesterday, I shared my team with Shane. If you're not familiar with who Shane is, he is a very diligent Gen 1 player, very active in the Gen 1 scene. He owns a couple of well-known Discords. He's a real grinder. He plays multiple tiers, and I played Shane many times in friendlies. Last year, I helped him prepare for a tour. I must have played him a good 20 times or so. I've been playing him this year as well, and I've noticed a significant improvement. In fact, we played on ladder today, and he bodied me. It was he totally destroyed me. It was a very uninteresting game in which he outplayed me for the majority of it. I will not be uploading that game because it just isn't interesting. I will be uploading this game, not because it's competitive or close, but because the opponent used a very unorthodox team that I feel like deserves some time in the spotlight. So again, I'm using a modified version of RSW. Shane suggested changing the lead to Zapdos. So I'm still using the main core of Zapdos, Slowbro, and Rhydon, but now I've got Zapdos as the lead, and I've replaced Alakazam with Chansey. I'm using the classic Reflect set, Seismic Toss, Reflect, Thunder Wave, Salt Boiled. This set goes way back. Some people may be familiar with the Reflect era of Gen 1, where you had Reflect Snorlax, Reflect Chansey on the same team. The good old days where you had those best of 3 sets last 2 hours. I've had my fair share of those back in the day. So I'm running Zapdos, and I've got Reflect Chansey. Still have Slowbro, Rhydon, Tauros, and Executor. They're in the back as usual. So as I said, this opponent has a very unorthodox team. I want to show it off. Let's get on with it. So I lead Zapdos, and I decide to go all in with Drill Peck, hoping for a crit, hoping for a miss, either with Blizzard or Lovely Kiss. The opponent decides to slay the Zapdos, does not take their chances with Lovely Kiss. I take off 85% from the Jinx's health. I send in Tauros for the revenge kill. But the opponent sends in Articuno, takes the Body Slam very well. I switch to Chansey to take the Blizzard. Now the opponent sacrifices the Jinx. At this point, the Jinx is nothing more than a sacrificial lamb. In comes Executor. I decide to have Rhydon take Sleep. Because the opponent has revealed Articuno. I presume they've got Starmie as well. So I absolutely need Chansey. And I need Tauros because of its high critical hit rate and fearsome attack power. I figure that Rhydon at this point in the game is the most expendable member of the team. I switch into my own Executor. I miss Sleep Powder. Opponent misses Stun Spore. Miss Sleep Powder again. And the opponent connects with Stun Spore. I'm wary of Explosion. Luckily, it doesn't happen. I'm down to 63%. I decide to just explode. I'm a little frustrated at this point. In the previous game I played, I missed Sleep Powder 3 times in a row. So I'm definitely feeling the frustration that players commonly experience when they try their luck on the Gen 1 ladder. I explode, 26%, have a pretty good shot of killing with Body Slam. The opponent goes back into Articuno. No crit, no para. I decide to just take the Blizzard. I want Articuno out of the picture. Articuno goes down. In comes Moltres. And now I realize that this team is a gimmick. We've got Articuno and Moltres on the same team. Luckily, I not only have Rhydon, but I also have Slowbro. I have Rhydon take Hyper Beam. That surprised me. I was expecting Fire Blast. But I get Hyper Beam. This allows me to pivot into Slowbro. They go back to Executor. I paralyze it. I'm happy with that. Switch Slowbro out. I felt like Explosion was pretty obvious. Executor goes down. In comes Chansey. I send Chansey back in the fray. Opponent reveals Defense Curl. This is actually something I created way back in 2018 during the zenith of the Reflect era. Defense Curl has a couple of advantages over Reflect. Namely, its prodigious PP amount. It has 61 PP. So in the event of a war of attrition, the Chansey with Defense Curl will probably win. Of course, it also lowers the speed stat of paralyzed Pokemon. So I was a little surprised to see Defense Curl still being used today. I get paralyzed. Luckily, I land Thunder Wave as well. I'm feeling fairly confident about my chances of winning. I've got Slowbro to deal with Moltres. Chansey's paralyzed. I'm a little concerned about Defense Curl because I will eventually be drained of my PP if it comes to that. I'm getting paralyzed a lot though. So this is a stalemate. In comes Zapdos. That surprised me a little bit. Opponent is hoping for a critical hit. Doesn't get it. I land Thunder Wave, and the full gimmick of this team has been revealed. I actually built the team kind of like this. I called it Elemental Assault. I had Tauros over Jinx though. I don't remember if I had Executor as well. I definitely had Tauros, Chansey, and the 3 elemental birds. I called it Elemental Assault. It's a team I ran a couple of times on ladder, way back when. So luckily, I land Thunder Wave. Opponent doubles into Moltres. Don't really care about that. I presume it will use Fire Spin. It does. It doesn't miss, but I don't really care. I can just switch into Rhydon, and this allows me to burn off a turn of sleep for free. Switch back to Chansey. I want Rhydon alive so that I can switch into Fire Spin and burn off sleep turns. So we're back to the Chansey stalemate. Chansey Defense curls up. I use Reflect for protection against a possible Zapdos switch-in. I wear it down to 44. I go into Rhydon on the expected soft-boiled. Chansey recovers. I burn off a second round of sleep. Switch out to dodge Seismic Toss, and the opponent forfeits. Not much of a game, but I thought this team was interesting. It was very unorthodox. I appreciate these anomalies. I kind of have an itch to give this team a shot. I would use Tauros, though. I don't think I'd lead Jinx. Maybe I would. I have Tauros on here. Maybe lead Zapdos, or even Executor. Have Tauros for some extra offense. Keep Chansey. You want Chansey to be able to switch into special attacks. But yeah, this team was interesting. End up winning the game. It didn't really have many good games today. Actually, I played 5 games on ladder, and none of them were good. One of them was against Shane. I got bodied by him. So this was the most interesting game I had today. And that's it. So I'm going to play with this modified version of RSW for a bit, see how it fares, and hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.